Aging is an undeniable reality. Like the sun rising each day. It's a journey no one can avoid, where we constantly step through life's milestones. But is aging merely a physical transformation? Or is it also an inner journey? A test of patience, understanding, and the ability to let go. Life is like a grand painting, drawn from choices, actions, and constant interaction with time. However, for many, the later years are not just about physical decline but also a feeling of being forgotten. Even hurt by those they once gave all their love and sacrifice to. Have you ever wondered why the people we love most are sometimes the source of our deepest pain? The Buddha once taught, attachment is the root of suffering. And upon deeper reflection, we see this teaching is particularly true in family relationships. Love, no matter how strong, can also become an emotional tether, making us vulnerable when things don't go as we wish. As we age, our bodies change. But the greatest challenge may not lie there. It lies in facing the changes in our relationships. Children, who once leaned on us as a safe harbor, may now become distant. Indifference, sometimes just a natural part of a busy life, can make us feel pushed to the edge of life. However, what matters is not how others treat us, but how we choose to react. Like a tranquil lake, an external storm can only disturb it when we allow it to affect our minds. Buddhist philosophy, with its inherent depth and peace, offers us a compass to navigate these challenges. Try looking at your life as a book. Each chapter has its own meaning. There are chapters full of joy and laughter. But there are also chapters filled with challenges. So why not learn to write the final chapter with serenity and power? The journey of aging is not just an acceptance. It's an opportunity to discover our true strength. How do we maintain inner peace when facing indifference from loved ones? How do we remain full of joy and a sense of being loved, even as the world around us changes? Life is a dance. And at each stage, we need to learn how to change the rhythm to better suit ourselves. Join me in this story, where the teachings of the Buddha, the lessons of life, and personal reflections will help you rediscover your inner light, serenity, and the true meaning of aging. This path is not just an end, but a new beginning. And you are the one who will decide how this journey continues. The seed of discontent. There was an old man living in a small, humble house, where there was no laughter or joyful conversation from children. His days passed in silence, broken only by the occasional sounds from outside, a sign of a world he no longer felt close to. His children, the children who were once his pride, the center of his life, now seemed to have little time to return. Each time they visited, their conversations were brief, their eyes always on glowing screens, as if he were just an extra part of the space. Silence filled those moments, and he felt like a ghost, invisible and fading. Each time his children left, he couldn't help but feel a pang of pain in his heart. That loneliness was like a thorn piercing his heart. Questions kept going around in his mind. Without answers, did I not love them enough? Was I too strict or too lenient? Why have they become so distant? Could it be that I did something wrong? And then, in a moment of quiet, as he sat meditating to find peace for his soul, a thought suddenly flashed in his mind, like a gentle breeze blowing through his heart. This question was not grand, but it carried real weight. Am I looking for my children's respect to fill an invisible void in my heart? This question, simple as it was like a large question mark, making him realize something important. Maybe he had been seeking external affirmation to heal a deep-seated discontent within himself. This is not just the old man's story, but also a reminder for all of us. Are we seeking recognition from those around us to feel valued? To fill inner needs that we haven't identified? Relationships? Social connections are sometimes just a facade hiding our own inner needs. When children no longer feel close, when those around us become distant, we might ask ourselves, why do I feel so empty? Indeed, this question can be a turning point, an opportunity for each of us to look at ourselves, to delve deeper into what is truly missing in our souls. Is it love, understanding, or respect that we always crave? And more importantly, do we have the courage to face these voids and begin the journey to find peace within ourselves? The mirror of expectations. Buddhism teaches that one of the main causes of suffering is when we cling too much to expectations. These expectations are not just desires but also the hopes we place on what we want others to do for us. We often feel disappointed and hurt when these expectations are not met. This is particularly evident in close relationships, such as the relationship between parents and children. When a father expects his children to love and respect him unconditionally, it can become a source of pain and disappointment. The old man in this story began to realize that his longing for respect from his children had become a burden on his soul. He felt that he deserved respect simply because he was their father. But when his children did not meet that expectation, he felt abandoned and unappreciated. This is a common emotional state in modern life, where we assume that roles or family relationships automatically bring respect and love without the need to build them. A wise teacher once shared a profound saying, "Let go of how life should be and embrace it as it is." This saying is like an awakening, reminding us that all expectations, whether large or small, can become burdens, and they will hinder us from finding inner peace. What we need to do is learn to accept relationships and situations in life, not with demands or expectations, but with openness and understanding. As the old man began to think about this, he realized that expecting his children to respect him just because he was their father had made him feel stressed and dissatisfied. He realized that unmet expectations were the source of his suffering. That's when he decided to try letting go of the thoughts and feelings attached to the idea of what his children should do or feel towards him. This was indeed a challenge, because letting go of expectations is not easy. We live in a society where family relationships are often expected to have certain standards. But when we focus too much on what others should do for us, we forget that each individual has a separate life, separate emotions, and a separate journey. Letting go of these expectations is how we free ourselves from invisible burdens and find inner peace. The old man's story can be the story of any of us who in life doesn't have expectations for their family, friends, or partners. But what is important is recognizing that respect and love cannot be forced or demanded. Instead, we need to learn to love and accept ourselves, to live in the present without letting expectations hinder our own freedom and happiness. This is a powerful reminder that letting go of expectations not only helps us live more lightly but also makes relationships more genuine and natural. When there are no more expectations, we can truly love and respect others, not because they meet our desires, but because they are who they are. The garden of self-reflection. Life is not always as we wish, especially when we face disappointment in relationships, particularly with our children, those whom we have spent our whole lives loving and hoping for. But instead of wallowing in sadness and feelings of failure, the old man in the story chose a different path. He turned inward, facing his own thoughts and feelings. That's when he began to ask himself, have I truly lived in a way that inspires respect? Have I shown them what compassion is? Or have I simply demanded it from them? These were not questions for self-blame, but to nurture a deeper understanding of himself. One of the most important things in the journey of self-reflection is not to judge oneself, but just to be aware of one's actions and feelings. This was not easy, because when looking back at the past, the old man saw clearly the moments when he had been impatient, the times he had been angry or indifferent in raising his children. We can easily feel self-reproach when looking back at such moments. But what's important is that the old man didn't see them with harsh judgment, but with understanding. He understood that those moments were part of the human journey. Mistakes and shortcomings are unavoidable, but they are precious lessons we need to grow. Not only did he recognize his shortcomings, but the old man also acknowledged and appreciated his efforts, sacrifices, and the love he had given to his children. We can easily forget these things when focusing only on negative moments. But in fact, those efforts, however small, are important marks in the relationship. The old man realized that love and sacrifice are not always immediately reciprocated, but they are eternal values that cannot be denied. This process of self-reflection helped the old man see himself more clearly. And from there, he learned to accept both his flaws and virtues. This not only helped him become lighter with himself but also opened a new door in his relationship with his children. When he no longer held such high expectations or demanded unconditional respect, he could live more peacefully. And from there, create a space where respect could develop naturally. Perhaps each of us needs our own garden for self-reflection, where we can face our emotions and thoughts without fear. It is a quiet space where we can reflect on life, reflect on ourselves objectively. This is when we can ask ourselves, am I really living the way I want? Am I contributing to my relationships sincerely? These questions are not to make us feel guilty, but to create opportunities for change and growth. What's important is that we understand that no one is perfect. Each of us has weaknesses and makes mistakes. But it is these things that help us grow, learn, and find a better path. When we learn to accept both our flaws and strengths, we not only create harmony within ourselves but also build relationships that are more sustainable, profound, and meaningful. The practice of letting go. As night falls and the outside world sinks into silence, the old man begins an important practice in his life, the practice of letting go. Not letting go of material things or external relationships, but letting go of heavy emotions and the expectations he had held onto for so many years. In the quiet of his small house, he found a moment to face himself, to relax, and to connect with the deepest thoughts in his heart. The evenings were the time he devoted to meditation, when everything around had quieted down. In that stillness, the old man began to contemplate the impermanent nature of life, one of the fundamental principles in Buddhism. Everything in the world changes. Nothing is eternal, and we cannot control everything. His children, whom he had raised, taught, and expected to bring him joy and respect, no longer reacted the way he had expected. They had their own lives, their own choices, and their own paths to take. Therefore, he began to remind himself, my children's actions are their karma. My peace is my responsibility. This was not just a simple mantra, but a deep reminder to help the old man free himself from the burden of expectations and disappointment. As he repeated this phrase in his mind, he was not simply remembering a theory, but truly living it, imbibing it into every cell of his body. Each time he breathed, he felt the gradual liberation. Each time he let go of an expectation, he felt lighter. The stories of failures or family conflicts gradually faded, giving way to a deep peace. This was not easy, because letting go is not something that happens in one day. Letting go is a journey, a process that takes time and patience. But the old man understood that by accepting the impermanence of life, by no longer clinging to what he could not control, he would find freedom in his soul. It was this acceptance that helped him escape the anxiety and sadness that he had been unable to escape before. Perhaps in each of our lives, there are times when we feel tired of things that are not going our way. We want change from those around us, hoping they will understand us and respond to us the way we want. But in reality, peace in life comes not from external changes but from changing our perspective and attitude towards life. When we understand that nothing is eternal, nothing is fixed, we can truly let go of the unnecessary things. Letting go does not mean abandoning or being irresponsible. In fact, it is an act of mindfulness, helping us to live in the present, not being dominated by the past or worrying about the future. When the old man practiced letting go, he did not give up his love for his children, but he gave up control or expectations of how they should behave towards him. He accepted that each person has their own path, and that his peace did not depend on anyone's actions. Over time, the practice of letting go brought him a profound inner change. A feeling of lightness surged in his heart, as if a heavy burden had been removed from his heart. Each day, he felt closer to himself, to what he had, instead of always worrying about what he didn't have or what he expected. This not only helped him find peace, but also helped him live a more meaningful life, not dominated by factors beyond his control. The gift of compassion. One autumn afternoon, as the air was fresh and the sunlight gentle, the old man was walking in the park when he suddenly saw a scene that filled his heart with emotion. A small child was trying to learn to walk, but stumbled, sat down on the ground, and looked worried. The child's parents, standing nearby, immediately reached out to support their child. With eyes full of love and patience, the old man smiled, and his heart was filled with sweet memories of when his own children were little. The times he had held their hands, supporting them in their first steps. It was in that moment that he had a profound realization: true love is not a transaction, not something that we give with the expectation of receiving. Love is a gift freely given, without conditions or expectations. This made him realize that over the years, he had been waiting too much for a response from his children, a response that might be love, respect, or just their presence by his side. But now, he decided to give his love without attachment, without any expectation. He would love them because they were his children, not because of anything they had to do to deserve that love. From that day on, he began to practice this in his daily life. Each time his children visited, he welcomed them warmly. Whether they were happy or sad, whether they were busy or tired, when they didn't come, he sent silent blessings to them, wishing them happiness and peace in life. He no longer felt disappointed or sad when they didn't visit, because he understood that love is not an immediate response, but an action of giving unconditionally, like a gift that we give without expecting to receive anything back. The ripple effect of inner peace. With the change in how he loved, the old man also began to feel changes in himself. As the months passed, he no longer felt burdened by expectations or disappointment. His calm and peaceful demeanor gradually spread to those around him, especially his children. At first, they didn't understand this change, even feeling confused because the old man used to be so worried, expecting attention and visits from them. But one day, his eldest son, after a gentle conversation, spoke up, "Dad, why are you so peaceful lately? Has anything changed?" The old man smiled and replied calmly, "I stopped waiting for the world to bring me peace, and found it right within myself." The answer was not only a reminder for himself but also a gentle, profound message for his children. These words planted a small seed in the hearts of his children, and gradually, they began to realize the change in themselves. The peace that he brought was not just superficial silence or stillness, but a deep inner peace, coming from accepting things as they are. Over time, his children began to visit him more often, not because of duty or obligation, but because they wanted to be near him, to feel the peace that he radiated. They no longer felt burdened by having to visit him, but felt relaxed and desired to share precious moments with their father, whom they now realized they truly loved. The wisdom of acceptance. What the old man learned on this journey was that respect is not something that can be forced. It's like a flower that can only bloom when nurtured with patience, understanding, and kindness. He realized that no matter how hard he tried, not all the seeds of love he planted would sprout. Some of his children were still too busy with their own lives to spend time with him as much as he wanted. But this no longer bothered him. He had learned to find satisfaction in giving love without requiring reciprocation. Acceptance is a great wisdom that not everyone can easily achieve. And through the changes within himself, the old man not only found peace for himself, but also created a space where love and respect could grow naturally, without being forced. The teaching, when neglected. Stay calm and do this. In life, sometimes we will feel neglected, disrespected, or even ignored, especially by loved ones, like our children. This can cause deep hurt, especially when we have spent our whole lives caring for and loving them. But instead of reacting hastily with anger or disappointment, a different approach can help us find inner peace and maintain relationships. When you feel abandoned or disrespected, try applying the teachings below. It's not just a way to cope with a difficult situation, but also a key to help you cultivate a life full of peace and deeper understanding of yourself and those around you. 1. Reflect without judgment. Ask yourself, instead of letting anger or disappointment dominate, stop and reflect on what is happening. Sometimes, the feeling of being neglected is not because others intentionally hurt us, but because of the expectations we have created in our minds. We often expect our children to reciprocate our love in a certain way. But when those expectations are not met, we easily feel ignored. Take some time to ask yourself if these expectations are realistic. Are they expectations that we created from past experiences, old beliefs, or even those imposed by society? This will not only help you better understand your own emotions, but also create an opportunity for you to practice compassion towards yourself. Remember that each person has their own path, and their reaction towards us is not a reflection of our self-worth, but a reflection of their own journey. 2. Let go of attachment to results. Freedom in love. In any relationship, letting go of expectations does not mean giving up love. On the contrary, it is an act of liberation, helping us to love without being bound by expectations or conditions. If your children do not respond as you expect, that is when you need to remember that their actions are a separate part of their journey, not a measure of your worth. True love does not need to wait for reciprocation. When you learn to let go of attachment to results, you will find peace coming from within. No more worries. No more feelings of lack or disappointment. Because you have given love without waiting for a response. This doesn't mean that you no longer care about your children, but that you love them freely, without needing their confirmation. 3. Practice unconditional kindness. Give love even to those who hurt you. Kindness is not something we only give to those who treat us well. True kindness arises when we give without expecting anything, even when the other person does not deserve it. When you face hurt or indifference, remember that sending blessings or thinking good things for others is how you nurture yourself and create a loving space. Those who hurt you may not understand your forgiveness and kindness, but that is how you maintain peace in your heart. Kindness is the strength that helps you overcome suffering and find serenity. Not getting caught up in negative emotions. When you practice this, you will feel lighter and happier, because you are not letting negativity dominate your life. 4. Nurture inner peace. Stillness is key. Meditation, mindfulness, or prayer are not just ways to calm the mind, but ways to reconnect with yourself. Finding inner peace. When you feel neglected, take time for quiet moments, to listen to yourself and restore your energy. Peace is not an easy state to achieve, but when you practice patiently, it will become part of your life. Imagine you are sitting in a dark room, but as you practice meditation or prayer, small rays of light begin to shine in. You will feel peace spreading from your heart, dispelling all worries, and helping you see all situations with more calmness and clarity. It is a firm foundation to help you overcome the challenges in life. 5. Be an example. Living is an inspiration. Finally, you are a role model for those around you. Every action you take, every word you speak, is an invisible message about how to love and respect. Living in peace and compassion not only makes you feel happy, but also inspires others. When you show patience, kindness, and wisdom in how you behave, you are not only setting an example for your children, but also for all those around you. You may not change your relationships immediately, but over time, the changes within you will affect your environment and ease the conflicts. Practical steps to demonstrate these teachings. To apply these teachings on inner peace, compassion, and unconditional love into our lives, we need concrete and consistent practices. These actions will not only help us feel inner peace but also spread positive energy around us, creating a widespread influence on those in our community. Below are a few simple yet highly effective steps that you can practice daily. 1. Daily mindfulness practice, returning to stillness in every moment. In our busy lives, sometimes we forget to take time to reflect and renew ourselves. Spend at least 5 to 10 minutes each day practicing mindfulness. Start by sitting quietly and focusing on your breath, identifying your emotions and thoughts without judgment. Take a deep breath and let go of all unnecessary burdens, expectations, or worries. Mindfulness not only helps you regain peace of mind but also helps you become more aware of what is happening in your life, thereby learning to respond positively and calmly. 2. Gratitude journal. shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance. One of the simplest ways to improve your mood and increase your satisfaction with life is to keep a gratitude journal. Each day, take some time to write down 3 things you are grateful for. These things can be as small as a morning cup of coffee, a greeting from a loved one, or simply a peaceful day. This not only helps you focus on the positive things in your life but also helps you realize that no matter the situation, there are always things to appreciate around you. 3. Acts of kindness, loving without expecting in return. Kindness is not just a good deed, but an unconditional act that comes from the heart. Start practicing small acts of kindness each day. But don't expect any response. It could be a sincere compliment, an act of helping others without the need for reward, or simply sending sincere blessings to someone you feel hurt by. These small actions will not only help you feel more peaceful but will also create a better environment where love and compassion can flourish. 4. Seeking wisdom, learning from those who have gone before. When you feel confused or have difficulty maintaining peace, finding inspiration and guidance from teachers can help clarify your path. Read books, listen to podcasts, or participate in sharing sessions from masters of Zen, Buddhism, or other spiritual development methods. These teachings will not only help you understand life better but will also provide you with the tools and knowledge to overcome challenges. Maintain patience and stillness in your heart. 5. Connecting with community, creating a supportive environment. No one can take this journey alone. To maintain inner peace and compassion, surrounding yourself with like-minded people is crucial. Find a community or group of people where you can share, learn, and support each other. The community will become a strong source of encouragement, helping you persevere with your spiritual practices and create a space full of love and understanding. Becoming a source of light, inner change will radiate outwards. The teachings of Zen and Buddhism show us that life's challenges, such as feelings of neglect or lack of respect, are actually precious opportunities for us to grow and mature. The story of the old man in the story is not just a lesson on how to deal with abandonment but is also a testament to how we can create inner peace, without relying on affirmation or respect from others. Peace and love are not things we must seek outside, they are always present within us, waiting to be discovered and nurtured. When you begin to apply these teachings to your life, you will realize that nothing can disturb your inner peace unless you allow it. This peace will not only change you but can also have a powerful impact on those around you. True love does not require any conditions, it is something that can flow freely without expecting anything. When you give without expecting anything back, you will find life becomes lighter and happier. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on my channel to stay updated with more content like this. Click the subscribe button below and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any updates. Also, feel free to leave a comment.